The great British love affair with train travel is as old as the railways themselves. From the beating heart of London's metropolis to the majesty of the Scottish Highlands. Connecting coast and countryside with our great cities, the East Coast Line has it all.
Disregard that, it's a glitch.
But it's the people who give life to this railway.
Come on, Frisco, I trust you.
British public are the best form of entertainment on the planet.
The East Coast Line carries 19 million passengers a year on 155 train journeys a day, along almost 1,000 miles of track. East Coast is the largest operator on the line. It runs trains, manages stations, and employs nearly 3,000 staff.
What are you doing all day? I'm not playing with you while you're showing off.
The East Coast workforce toils tirelessly.
Mandy bags, please.
From driving trains
Look at this office window. Fantastic.
to making breakfasts
Cooked that much bacon over the years, surprised I haven't turned into a pig.
to controlling the whole train set.
Morning, that's absolutely excellent, Graham. Thank you very much for that news.
Keeping everything on track behind the scenes and in public.
I've been standing here for half an hour.
These are the real heroes of the railway. The beating heart of the East Coast network is its fleet of trains. East Coast boasts 41 engines in total. Each one is a key part of the team, but some have been afforded celebrity status. The Flying Scotsman, the Battle of Britain, and Skyfall are among the famous names on the line. And there's also a sporting superstar. Meet the Sir Bobby Robson. On a typical working day, the Sir Bobby Robson carries over 1,000 passengers and covers over 1,000 miles on return trips between London and Edinburgh.
So you think he's not on this train? You think he's got a ticket for this train and he's maybe missed it?
So he can't claim it back.
Sausages. Lovely.
Nearly all of the East Coast Onboard staff regularly find themselves working on this train.
Oh, me bacon.
Smells like burnt bacon in here, like that.
Is it? Oh, no, I.
As it travels the length of Britain.
My biggest hero was Sir Bobby Robson. He used to travel on the route quite a bit, and he was always a pleasure to have on board, him and his wife. And obviously, with it being an avid Newcastle supporter, to have him, to meet him in person on the train was just a dream come true. He was such an iconic person. They named a locomotive, I think that was after he had passed away. So I like that when I see that one going around, because it does fetch a smile to my face to see the one with Bobby Robson's name on it.
It's 5 a.m. and the start of another typical working day for the Sir Bobby Robson begins at the Bounds Green maintenance depot in North London. Over the course of the day, almost 60 East Coast staff will work on board this train, and first up today is driver Colin. He will deliver the Sir Bobby Robson to King's Cross, where his daily duties will begin.
I met Sir Bobby Robson when I was a driver at Ipswich. He was on a platform with his wife, and he asked me if the train that was approaching the platform was the London train. He was a gentleman, yeah, absolutely.
The engine's first job of a grueling 21-hour working day is a return trip from London to Edinburgh.
I don't think the public have got any idea how hard the trains work. It has got a whole day's work ahead of it.
It's just after 6 a.m, an hour before departure. Sir Bobby Robson is fully stocked, ready for dispatch. The 1,000-mile journey is just the first leg of a marathon shift, which will end long after midnight. There will be 6 drivers taking control of the engine over the course of his working day, and the first of them is Graham.
Steady this train. It'll terminate at Edinburgh, it'll be cleaned and sorted for its return journey. It'll go all the way back to King's Cross on another passenger service. And again, once it terminates at King's Cross, it'll be cleaned again, and then it'll turn around again and come back to Newcastle. Once it's at Newcastle, terminate, turn around, go back to King's Cross and on passenger service, and then once it's back at King's Cross at night, it'll go out to Bounds Green, where it'll have its routine maintenance looked at.
Graham is delighted to be driving an engine named after a footballing legend.
He was a football manager. He was quite successful at Ipswich, wasn't he? He was England manager for, I think he was one of England's longest serving managers, is that right? The Geordies hold him with great affection, don't they? Of a legendary figure within the game. Sadly gone now, yeah. I think it's nice to have a name on a trail. It just makes it a little bit more interesting for the passengers and for the public.
Back in the train's tiny kitchen, Chef Chris presides over a flurry of bacon and biscuits.
I went to college and did catering, and then my brother works on the trains. He worked at Peterborough Station, and he kind of got me an interview. I used to work in a big kitchen with like 8 chefs, and then I came here and I was like, wow, is this a kitchen? It's not really a kitchen. So yeah, it took a lot of getting used to. Very different. Because you're cooking whatever they want you to do, you can't do anything yourself, you know.
Chris is also a fan of the train's famous namesake.
Yeah, it's a good idea. He was a legend, so nice man. I met him on the train. Yeah, I gave him breakfast a few years ago. He was really nice.
While Chris grills the bacon, guard Marcus is front of house punching tickets.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, can I see tickets, please? Cheers, thank you very much for that. Great, thanks a lot. We'll have reservations and tickets, yes. That's great, cheers. There you go, thanks a lot. This is the 7 o'clock East Coast to Edinburgh. Gets into Edinburgh about 11:20. It's got the new loco on it, Sir Bobby Robson, who was recently named, his wife was there at the ceremony. It literally is only the engine at the front, the locomotive at the front of the train that's called Sir Bobby Robson, because the coaches can be taken out, interchanged. It's just the loco, yeah. It's nice in it just being a loco number. The locos used to have names on them, and unfortunately, when they got repainted and resprayed, they just removed all plates, all names, and just went back to just the loco number. It was quite a shame. Morning, can I see tickets, please? Morning. There's not normally passengers this time of day. They're not terribly chatty. They just want to get their head down, do a bit of work, or sleep normally. Yeah, so you don't get much response out of people at this time in the morning, unfortunately. Morning, can I see tickets, please? Cheers, thank you very much.
Just as Marcus completes his ticket check, the train reaches its first stop of the day.
Cheers, darling. Thank you very much. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, a few moments' time, as you're arriving into Peterborough, you're leaving us here, please ensure that you do have all items of personal belongings. Now I've got to run down the back. We do it from the back so we can see the train leave the whole of the platform and still see the dispatcher, and if they wanted us to stop the train, you know, we need to see them for as long as we possibly can. Right, normally I'd try and get myself to the back of the train before we even came into the station. I'll go from this one.
As the Sir Bobby Robson pulls out of Peterborough, the crew's first job is to feed the first-class passengers.
We're on the 7 o'clock from King's Cross, which is 1 Sierra 05, aka Bobby Robson. I'm the crew leader on board, and my job is to make sure that everything works together.
As those in first class tuck into their full English breakfasts, over in standard class, a group of foreign travellers have lost something important.
We've lost a colleague on the way.
Do you think they're on the train?
I hope they're on the train. Yeah, but the problem is we do this every few weeks with a group and we always lose somebody.
Right.
So I'm always asking
Is there a
the train guard, can you please help me out, and have you seen him?
I don't know, because I don't know what he looks like.
I can show you a picture of him.
He's a lawyer.
Go on then.
Yeah. He's a lawyer.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not too obvious he's a lawyer. Is he okay on the next train then?
I don't know. So you think he's not on this train? You think he's got a ticket for this train and he's maybe missed
I think
it?
he missed it.
Missing the appointed train could prove to be a costly mistake.
Train travel is quite expensive now. So, you know, if somebody's travelling on a wrong train by half an hour, and I'm sort of coming along and saying, well, I'm really sorry that you've already spent £50 to £100. You now owe me £100 or more, in some cases. It's not a very nice job at times. No. I can't remember, sorry.
As Marcus gets busy checking the Peterborough passengers' tickets, he finds himself sounding a bit like a broken record.
Thank you very much. Have you got your reservation there as well, sir? So you've got your reservation over there, sir? Oh, those are the 2 reservations. There's 2 tickets as well, sorry. That's the reservation, mate. There's another bit as well, actually. That's your ticket. There's another bit. That's the reservation. That's the reservation. Keep going. Do you have your ticket? Do you have your reservation? It is the most common phrase said. Since they brought these advance tickets out a few years ago, and it was up 2 separate tickets, multi-piece tickets, you ask any guard and he will tell you the same thing. They are a bit of a nightmare, and they make the whole process a bit longer for us because a lot of people, unfortunately, don't read what's on the ticket in front of them.
It's chaos in the kitchen, courtesy of East Coast dynamic duo Mark and Karen.
Oh, with bacon.
Smells like burnt bacon in here, like that.
Does it? Oh, no, why?
Mark always burns the bacon.
Named after the legendary England manager, the Sir Bobby Robson engine is heading north towards York. And this morning, it's not only Sir Bobby that's been remembered. East Coast Railway chaplain Stephen is overseeing a special dedication service.
We are blessing a brand new bench which has been very kindly donated in memory of the West Yorkshire Regiment. And so we're blessing it with the regimental chaplain, and then they're going on to a service in the York Minster.
May this bench serve to remind all who sit and take their rest of the work of those who serve their Queen in the Yorkshire Regiment. May they find this place of temporary rest bring a moment of solace and peace on the journey of life.
And may the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be with us all this day and forevermore. It's really important to have things like this because actually in Remembrance Week we use the benches as a focal point when we place the poppy wreaths in remembrance of the staff when we do the services. So yeah, so that's really good.
With the bench respectfully unveiled, to the assembled clergy want to give it a go.
Yeah, we want one sat down on the bench.
Yeah, why not? We've done some work this morning, so why shouldn't we sit and have a rest? Actually, we're not doing it for you.
Yeah.
We're just doing it for
We're just doing it for us. Yeah, we just wanted to sit on it.
Leaving York behind, the Sir Bobby Robson speeds up the East Coast line. At the controls is driver Graham.
I've actually been a train driver for just over 8 years now. So my dad, he's a train driver. He doesn't work for this company, he works for a freight company. But I've always been interested in it, and I always saw something I fancied doing. And well, I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? Your dad's a train driver, so that's what you see him doing day in, day out, and of course you get an interest because that's his job. I've always said, you know, it's the best job on the railway. I mean, other people might disagree, but you know, it's I get to come to work every day and and drive a train, which I think a lot of people would like to do.
The train speeds through County Durham towards Newcastle, Sir Bobby Robson's spiritual home.
Don't laugh at my gloves.
And Chef Chris cleans the kitchen in preparation for the next shift.
That's me done. And get on the next train on the way back.
Anyway, no, I don't want to be a liar. Who's turning me veggies upside down now?
On another service, Geordie, Joe, Mark and Karen are gearing up for breakfast.
Oh, I'll be bacon.
It smells like burnt bacon in here, like that.
Does it? Oh, no, I. First time.
Mark always burns the bacon.
I burnt it. I'm not going to pretend it's well done or I just burnt it, but it's because I was busy feeling them out of the basically. Because
we weren't even in it.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. So, if it wasn't for me.
Mark's a chef, not a CSA. All right, finish.
Anything for breakfast?
Yeah, can they have the bacon sandwich, please?
Thank you. Cheers now.
East Coast carries thousands of tourists every year, and Mark and Karen like to show their first-class guests that personal touch.
Oh, Danish. All right, Danish fish, yeah. Danish breakfast. They come around on the trolley, mate. Where you travelling to? Edinburgh, right? The bakery basket's coming round, all right?
Are you going to Edinburgh?
Morning. Edinburgh.
The lady's going to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Eat the Danish breakfast through us. Do you want a Yugoslavian one? Do you want a Yugoslavian one?
Sorry?
Yugoslavian? French, maybe. French, right? It's just full breakfast then, yeah? No, yes. Would you like anything for breakfast this morning?
Chef Mark is proud of his powers of communication, whatever the language barrier.
To eat? No? No food? Hold on. Do you want food? No, you don't want food. Spot on, thank you. What's happening?
I think they're going to have breakfast.
Hold on.
2 breakfasts. 2? Yes?
You see, we've been through all this. What's different? What's changed your mind?
Yeah, they like me more.
Is it? Do you think she's cooking it? Look at this, man.
I'm the chef. I'm better.
Right, do you want sausage? Do you like sausage? Sausage. Wolves. Sausages. Wolves. Two full English. 2 sausages. Leave all out. Sort them for you, pet. She never spoke. And then I said sausage. She went, sausage!
Nowhere on the East Coast Line is the Sir Bobby Robson engine more welcome than in Newcastle.
This sounds really silly. I love coming back home. I love coming back to Newcastle. And you see the Angel of the North and you know you're coming home. No matter what time of day it is, coming over the bridge and seeing the Tyne Bridge and the Swing Bridge below. And it's a nice feeling. And it sounds daft, but every now and then you'll look at it and I get goosebumps, you know, because I'm just very sort of proud to be a Geordie and from Newcastle.
Train now at platform 2 is East Coast Service 2, Edinburgh Waverley. This train will call Edinburgh Waverley only.
During the course of the working day, there will be several shift changes as the Sir Bobby Robson works his way from London to Edinburgh, back to London, and then once again to Newcastle, before finally returning to London King's Cross. Phew! And on the station in the city, which will see the train 3 times in one day, are platform team Claire and Pam.
Do you need a ramp on the train? Is it easier, yeah? For getting up on the ramp, yeah? Right, we'll sort it out then, don't worry.
You can jump up, man.
Are you going to jump for us?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to jump? Bless you.
I meant you're 84-year-old jumping all over.
84? You don't look 84.
Well, I know that.
You're looking good. You're looking good.
They'd been in the Navy. I liked him. You see, that's the sort of people I like. I think you've got to give them a little bit of respect.
I'll get the ramp down first, gents, all right? round. Oh, don't even go there. That's never happened before in my whole career. What, 18 years? So yeah, I don't know what happened with that. I think I just went a bit too far and I got my ramp stuck. I've got the ramp stuck.
Only Claire could do this.
Only I could do this. Got it
Right.
on?
No,
but I
you
haven't got
haven't.
it. It's too far forward. That's it, you got it?
Watch your fingers.
I just couldn't get it in the right position with that door.
Pull it forward.
Got it?
Right.
Oh
no, that'll give them a laugh, man.
Take your time, sir. All right. Never mind. These things happen.
Since leaving the depot this morning, the Sir Bobby Robson has travelled over 300 miles. After pulling out of Newcastle station, is now heading to Edinburgh, its first terminus of the day. The 100-mile route through the Northumberland countryside and the Scottish borders to Scotland's capital city is one of the most picturesque stretches on the line.
My favourite part of the route is probably Newcastle, Edinburgh, because it's lovely. It's the only part of the East Coast route where you actually travel up the coast. Everything else is inland, you know, so you get that lovely scenery. It's nice to pass through Berwick and Allenmouth and places like that, you know, and then when you get north of Berwick, you're quite close to like the rocks, and you think, how long is the main line going to be? Maybe another 50 years with the way they say the country's corroding around the coastline, you know. You're quite close to somewhere. It's beautiful. It's absolutely awesome, that part of the world.
It's not just the view from the train which provides its passengers with memories. Today, the train's name also gives pause for thought.
And when this train drew up, we did notice it was called the Sir Bobby Robson. In fact, I pointed it out to you, didn't I? Which I think is rather nice.
It's going back to the old days, isn't it? Where trains all had names, or most of them did, I think.
And I noticed it was Sir Bobby Robson, the famous football manager. I think it goes back when I was a lad, and of course we had steam trains in those days. The most important ones used to have names on them, and you know, I think it's a nice touch to name a train like this. Yeah, you know, it takes you back to the years of steam.
While the Sir Bobby Robson speeds towards Edinburgh, Karen and Mark are busy serving dozens of breakfasts to tourists on their train.
Very, very busy train. Mainly a lot of leisure travellers, this one.
Hope you enjoy that this morning.
You're going to get a lot of food, because what you tend to find is a lot of the leisure travellers take full advantage of the offers and they'll eat.
Did you want a vegetarian breakfast this morning? No, full English? You were the full English, weren't you? Yeah. Now, Mark's lovely for doing the breakfast orders, but he forgets to put what coach we're in, so I don't know where this is. Vegetarian here? Yeah? Found it. You see it. Well...
Don't worry, Karen, I've got your back.
Got 2 sausages.
Is that all right for you?
Breakfast for you.
Sausages. A picture of your sausage. That is absolutely bizarre. Your sausages. Lovely.
Oh!
Edinburgh's Waverley Station, and the Sir Bobby Robson is just over 400 miles into his mammoth 1,000-mile shift. The team has only 33 minutes for another rapid turnaround. The water needs topping up, the carriage is cleaned, and a complete set of seat reservations need to be placed before the Sir Bobby Robson is ready to head back south. At Newcastle Station, Daz rescues some living lost property.
The fish one that found on the train, and you know, like the proverbial bag, like the green one at the fair. To think that somebody would leave their goldfish. Nobody ever came looking for them. It's supposed to keep you tranquil, isn't it? It's supposed to, yeah. Not that I get much to look at them.
Edinburgh's Waverley Station is a grand landmark in Scotland's capital, and the East Coast Line's gateway to and from the Scottish Highlands. Today is also the beginning of a long journey home for an American music student. She's been to Scotland for a somewhat special music convention. 21-year-old Estella has been playing the harp for over 10 years. She loves enchanting strangers with his beautiful sound, and today's first-class passengers could be the perfect captive audience.
How are you all doing today? I'm sad to be leaving Scotland. I'm going back to England for a little while.
So why were you up in Scotland?
There's a harp festival happening. I play the harp, that's what I was stuck up
Oh,
on.
interesting.
Thank you. Maybe. Maybe.
Can't wait, come on.
Okay. What are your names?
I'm Fiona.
Fiona, nice to meet you. Estella.
Hello, Estella.
Yeah.
I'm Jason.
Jason, nice to meet you.
I'm Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. So, I play harp, and Scotland and Ireland and, you know, the whole of the UK really has this amazing tradition of harp music, and harps are the oldest instrument in the world.
Okay.
It was really special to come up north and visit kind of the home of the harp. Well, I can show you mine if you want. Yeah? Okay. I just tuned it this morning. You're in luck. Gonna have to kind of sit on the edge, but...
Do you mind if I take a photograph of you?
No, go for it.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
While Estella gives an impromptu performance on her southbound train, over on platform 11, the midday Edinburgh to London train is about to depart, powered by one of the East Coast's most beloved engines, the Sir Bobby Robson.
2 spinach, 2 spinaches.
I have the spinach republic.
On board the Sir Bobby Robson today is a fan, but not a football fan. John is on a return trip from London, and it's the engine which sets his pulse racing.
I adore train travel. Train is the best. This is 12 o'clock, East Coast, fast train from Edinburgh, Waverley to King's Cross. We stop more going down. Coming up, it was just Peterborough, Darlington, obviously York, but that sort of thing. And we don't have a driving thing at that end. It's a driving van trailer. We've only got one engine, and that's at the other end, and it's pushing us all the way.
Oh, and don't get him started on his train tracking gadgets.
Yes, I use the GPS. Only 30 miles from Berwick-on-Tweed, and at the moment we're doing 106 miles an hour. We aren't allowed to do more than 125, but it goes up to about 126. This train can actually do 140, but the signalling is not quite adequate. But it's, I love it. They're marvellous things, these. It is just purely for the fun of it. Other people play sport. I can't stand sport.
Before he had the GPS, he used to use an old army compass. It used to drive me mad.
For most passengers, it's not fancy gadgets that capture the attention, it's the spectacular scenery of the northeast coast.
Allenmouth.
Your party is beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
It's beautiful, isn't it? It's like when we go past there in the summertime and the sun's shining, Beth has to come and find me, or I found her, and we say Allenmouth, and then you look out the window
because the sea
beautiful.
comes right round the houses,
Yeah.
and the houses are all different colours. And when the sun shines on them,
it's beautiful. So we're aspiring to have a day out there, aren't we, Beth?
My favourite part of the route has to be towards Berwick and through. It is absolutely stunning, and I'm very fortunate that as the chaplain for Yorkshire and the North East, it's my bit, as it were, and I'm very, very proud of it and very protective of it as well.
Base to Rail 1. David, unfortunately, no York don't have a seat for that one, David.
While the Sir Bobby Robson heads into Newcastle for the second time today, Information Controller Daz is dealing with lost property.
Lost property off the last Terminator. It's, a guy's phoned up. I take it it's this one because he said he's got a bag with a shirt in it, but he never said there was an iPad in it, so I don't know if it's the same bag. The guy's going to phone back shortly, so when he does phone back, I'll just say to him, can you tell us if there's anything else in it? And the make of the shop.
Most lost property is eventually claimed by its owner, but the odd items have become permanent fixtures.
The fish one that found on the train in a, like the proverbial bag, like the green one at the fair. One of the lads, Mickey, I think he or somebody donated the tank for her, and we just thinking. But I think it was 3 or 4 of them. There's only one, the big yellow ones, that one, the original one left. The others have died. But I mean, I think they were for over a year. And because we didn't want to be lonely, we've had another 2 goldfish, and they're coming on well. And I think somebody's had some suckerfish in there to clean the tanks and that, kind of sprouted up the last month and a bit. But to think that somebody would leave their goldfish, nobody ever came looking for them. And it's great because if you get any kids who come in with their parents and they look for lost property, they just dart over there, make a beeline, so it's great. They love the fish, and it's supposed to keep them tranquil, isn't it? It's supposed to, not that I get much to look at them. I had goldfish a few years ago, mine didn't last. I didn't have a nice big tank like that, but I couldn't date me, not green fingered and out like that. I tried tomatoes one time and they didn't last either, so I've given up now.
Back on the southbound service from Scotland, Harper's Distiller's impromptu performance in first class has given her some new fans.
So what are the colours then on the reds and blues?
So the red strings are C's, like that, and then the blue strings are F, and it just kind of goes up, C, D, E, F, G. It's always nice to feel like you're being embraced by whoever you end up sitting with, because it's such a random, occurrence. Do you want to try? Anyone want to have a go?
Go on, I'll have a go.
There you go.
One, two,
three.
All the time.
Is this your station?
This is our station.
Yes, we've got to go.
So nice to meet you. It was really nice to talk to them. I think that they definitely enjoyed it. I feel really lucky that they let me pull it out and wanted to. We're so curious, It's always great when people are interested in what you do, and that was an honor.
With her musical journey behind her, Estella arrives in King's Cross knowing her beautiful harp music has some new devotees. It's party time.
We just had a good day in York on the races, but we didn't win much money.
Mrs. Sir Bobby Robson heads home.
1,322 miles in total. It's not bad for a day's work, eh?
It's almost 5 p.m. and for the second time today, one of East Coast's most iconic engines, the Sir Bobby Robson, is getting ready to leave King's Cross. Once again, the train is taking passengers north to Newcastle before heading back to London for its final journey of the day.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Osman Kadri, your train guard. A warm welcome aboard this is 1730 East Coast service to Newcastle, calling at Peterborough, Newark North Gate, York, Darlington, Durham, and due to arrive Newcastle at 2031.
For the third time today, the train has a new onboard team, including Osman, who's been working on the railways for nearly 4 decades.
Please? I've been 38 years as a guard. I love it. I enjoy when I help some passengers and they say thank you. That makes my day. This is a very expensive ticket, isn't it? Thank you. Your ticket, please. I personally work on the assumption of having a human touch when I do. Your ticket is not valid because it's super off-peak. They are not valid between 3 and 7 o'clock. So you need to upgrade this to the full fare, I'm afraid. You might need to pay another, I'll check for you how much. There is a young lady there who is unfortunately has child ticket and she has only £25. The ticket is £28. And I could see the tears in her eyes, so I let her go without taking the excess. And she was so pleased and happy, and she'll be now ever grateful that she traveled on East Coast. See your ticket, please. Thank you.
In the carriages, there is a change of passenger too. Gone are the afternoon tourists, replaced by rush hour commuters returning home.
Half of my train will be getting off at Peterborough, you know. Thank you indeed. You are not, definitely. Thank you. Oh.
It keeps ringing and it's some lady's phone, but we don't know whose it is.
Okay, if it rings, I'll find out. Thank you. Where did you find it, sir?
It was just left there. Can you remember what the name was?
Karina, that's right, yeah.
Karina. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Although driver Steve travels on the East Coast Line hundreds of times a year, he never tires of the view.
But it's quite interesting. When we travel passenger, like if I'm travelling with my family or even sometimes we get a job where we might take a train to York and then come back as a passenger. And you sit looking out of the window, you actually see things that you don't normally see because I'm so used to focusing that way and not sideways. Now what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do a brake test. And this is just to confirm that all the brakes are working. So I want to make sure we've got a speed reduction and you can feel it slowing down. Because we don't want the first time we test the brakes, if we can help it, to be when we're stopping at a signal, just in case there's a problem, but never had a problem.
In standard class, before Osman can file a report about the lost mobile, the phone starts to ring.
This is the telephone which has been found. It's been ringing now. Hello? Whoever you are ringing, they have lost their phone. Can you get in touch with them and tell them? Oh, it's your phone. All right, then. This is the guard on this train. She got on this wrong train and she left in a hurry, leaving the phone behind. She should have been on the 1735, but she wrongly got on the 1730. I can take it to York and you can collect it from York, perhaps? All right, then. I will give the telephone to the station staff, telling them that you will be there about around 9 o'clock to pick it up. Okay, you are welcome. Thank you. At least she's happy now. She'll get her phone back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Osman Khatri, your train guard. We shall shortly be arriving at York. When leaving the train, take all your personal belongings with you. And thank you for choosing to travel East Coast.
As the train pulls into York Station, Osman hands over the lost mobile phone to the train dispatcher for the owner to collect later.
At telephone, a passenger will come and collect it. The name is Corina, about 9 o'clock.
All right.
She left it on at King's Cross. She got on and got off.
Okay.
Huh?
No worries, yeah.
Yeah? Thank you very much.
Job done, and Osman's back on the northbound journey again.
We will. Thank you very much.
With the rush hour over, a whole new crowd of sports fans have boarded the Sir Bobby Robson at York.
Thank you, York passengers.
We've just had a good day in York on the races, but we didn't win much money. How much have you lost? £20. At least. Have you? £25. I've got to pay my ticket anyway. I've got to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Osman Khatri, your train guard. We shall shortly be arriving at Newcastle Station, our final destination.
Newcastle for the third time today. And another race against time as the staff prepares the Sir Bobby Robson for the last leg of today's marathon.
This train, Sir Bobby Robson, is now heading back on last trip of the day. This is the last train leaving Newcastle for London, and we do arrive a bit late into London.
As his shift nears its end, Osman finds time to make sure the lost phone and its owner have been successfully reunited.
Hello, yes, Corina, this is the guard. Have you received your telephone from York? You have? Oh, I'm glad that you are reunited with it.
You are welcome indeed, my pleasure. Thank you indeed. Bye. Bye. Yeah, the lady who lost the phone on our last trip has been now reunited with her phone, and she's very, very happy.
As Sir Bobby Robson approaches London, the final destination of a long day, the passengers are still talking about the man himself.
Actually, I know an immense amount about him because as a probable 12 or 13-year-old lad, I stood outside the dressing room and heard some of the verbals that he gave his players. So although he quite rightly deserved himself to be a sir and was a great manager, he was also a very tough guy. That was probably part of his legacy. I mean, Ipswich doing what they did as a very small-time club and achieving what they achieved. And I think that's testament to the man as to how much of a coach and a manager and, you know, in later life as a director that he was.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your guide speaking. We are now approaching King's Cross Station, our final destination. Bobby Robson will be going back into the depot once we finish here in London. Back to Bounds Green. That's it, my day is over.
18 hours after delivering the engine to King's Cross, depot driver Colin once again climbs into the cab to return the Sir Bobby Robson to the engine depot in North London.
They go into Bounds Green maintenance depot, but first we've got to give it a wash. And this is the CET, which is the discharge for the effluent tanks. In the good old days, they used to discharge directly onto the track, but when these were built, they had retention tanks, so that all the waste is collected and it's discharged here. Now go into the depot, and once it's in the depot, it will receive maintenance, a bit of tender love and care ready for its next diagram, which I'm not too sure where that's going tomorrow. Looks like he's waiting for us, which is good news. And then what we need now is a hand signal from them. Once we get here, that'll be the end of the journey. Another day over. Nearly finished for the night, yeah? And I'll get them all ready for tomorrow. I left here this morning, just before 6 o'clock. It's exactly the same spot as it left this morning. And that's 1,322 miles in total. It's not bad for a day's work, eh?